Imagine walking through life unshaken by the storms around you, calm, composed, and unfaltering, no matter what chaos the world throws at your feet. What would it feel like to have unbreakable control over your mind and emotions? Wouldn't that be the ultimate freedom? This isn't a fantasy. It's a mindset cultivated by the Stoic philosophers who believed that true power comes not from controlling the external, but from mastering the internal. In our modern age, where distractions abound and crises seem endless, the timeless wisdom of Stoicism has never been more relevant. It doesn't promise you an escape from hardship, but it equips you with tools to remain resilient, unaffected, and serene amidst it all. Let's explore 5 Stoic principles that, if practiced, can help you face life with unshakable strength. 1. The dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can control. What if I told you that most of your stress comes from fighting battles that aren't yours to win? Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher, urged us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. Your thoughts, actions, and reactions are within your control. The weather, other people's opinions, or the past, these are not. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was working on a project that meant the world to me. Despite putting in endless hours, it faced harsh criticism. At first, I was devastated, but then I remembered Epictetus. I couldn't control the critics, but I could control my response. So I chose to view their feedback as an opportunity to improve. In the end, that project became one of my proudest achievements. Imagine being stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You can either stew in anger, honk incessantly, and curse the gridlock, or you can listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply accept that this moment is out of your hands. Which approach leads to peace? 2. Amor Fati. Love your fate, no matter what. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This encapsulates the Stoic idea of Amor Fati, loving whatever happens to you as if you had chosen it. Consider Thomas Edison, whose factory burned to the ground, destroying years of hard work. Instead of despairing, Edison famously said, "Thank goodness all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh." He embodied the spirit of Amor Fati. When life throws you curveballs, a breakup, a job loss, or a health scare, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Loving your fate doesn't mean passively accepting everything. It means actively finding the hidden value in it. 3. Practice negative visualization. Prepare for the worst one. Of Stoicism's most practical tools is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Seneca recommended that we visualize worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on fear, but to inoculate ourselves against it. Here's a personal example. Before giving an important speech, I'd picture forgetting my lines, tripping on stage, or facing a hostile audience. Oddly enough, this exercise calmed me. When the actual event arrived, it seemed far less intimidating because I had already faced those fears in my mind. Picture yourself losing a valuable possession, such as your phone or wallet. Now imagine how you'd adapt. Contacting the bank, replacing the device, managing without it temporarily. Doing this regularly not only reduces your attachment to material things, but also builds mental resilience. The power of perspective. View problems as opportunities. What stands in the way becomes the way. These words from Marcus Aurelius remind us that obstacles are not roadblocks, but stepping stones. The way you frame a situation determines how it affects you. There's a story of a Stoic ship captain whose vessel was caught in a raging storm. While the crew panicked, the captain stayed calm, saying, "If I perish doing my duty. If I survive, I will sail another day." His perspective turned fear into acceptance. When faced with difficulties, ask yourself, what good can come from this? How can this challenge sharpen me? Adopting this mindset transforms setbacks into growth opportunities. Imagine losing a job. It's easy to see it as a disaster, but what if it's a chance to pivot to a more fulfilling career? By reframing the situation, you take control of your narrative. The discipline of assent. Control your judgments. Stoics believed that external events don't disturb us. Our judgments about them do. If someone cuts you off in traffic, it's not the act that angers you, but your interpretation of it. They're disrespecting me. Change the judgment, and you change the feeling. This principle came alive for me when I dealt with a difficult colleague. Instead of labeling them as rude or impossible, I reframed their behavior as a reflection of their own struggles, not a personal attack. This shift made our interactions far less stressful. Picture someone criticizing your work. Instead of taking it personally, see it as an opportunity for feedback or as a reflection of their perspective, not an absolute truth. Tying it all together. The Stoics didn't aim to escape life's hardships. They aimed to endure them with grace. These 5 principles, controlling what you can, loving your fate, visualizing challenges, reframing obstacles, and mastering your judgments, are your toolkit for navigating life's storms. As you integrate these ideas into your daily life, you'll notice a profound shift. Stressful situations lose their sting. Criticism becomes a stepping stone. Even failure feels less like an end and more like a teacher. So, the next time life tests you, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Ask yourself, is this within my control? How can I love this moment? What lesson does this hold? With practice, you'll find that nothing can truly shake you, not because life becomes easier, but because you've become stronger.